Welcome to Jay's Gamepad, everybody, and all my fellow G's and gamers out there, welcome back. So this is going to be my review of Horizon Forbidden West. I just want to make it clear that I have played this game on the PS4 Pro, so not the PlayStation 5, just the Pro. I've put in countless hours, I don't even know at this point, just unlimited hours, and I've got the Platinum Trophy. And I did this because I wanted to play the game thoroughly so I can give you the best review possible. So with that being said, this is my review of Horizon Forbidden West. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Horizon Forbidden West. This is the intro, so let's get into it. So Horizon Forbidden West was made in 2022, developed by Guerrilla Games using the Decima engine, which is a godlike engine, by the way, in my personal opinion. And it is a single player action RPG, and the production budget was over 110 million euros when we do the conversion into pounds. It is basically 92 million pounds, aka sterling. So that is basically the introduction of the production of this game. Let's talk about the plot and story and the good and bad points, but I'm going to start with the good points. And just so you know, I'm not going to be talking about any spoilers. It's going to be very, very vague, basically like a synopsis, to be honest with you. But anyway, so the game picks up 6 months after the defeat of Hades. Aloy has left Meridian in search of a backup AI called Gaia to basically revive the effects of the planet and the degradation of the biosphere. She comes across some old friends that you see in the first game. She makes some new ones, and they all help her, on her journey in the story. So that's cool. And what I will say is that the game's got a lot of elements and DNA that's been taken from other games like The Last of Us, Uncharted 4, Ghost of Tsushima, and even a few elements from Resident Evil, which is a good thing. So overall, the plot and story is good. Is it amazing? No, not particularly, but it is good. The bad points that I have with the plot and story is that in regard to the character, I feel like, it comes across that Aloy doesn't seem like the same character to me, especially when you compare her from the first game. The fact that this second game picks up like 6 months after the first game, her character seems so far removed from the first game. She's kind of like unlikable in my personal opinion. She comes across a bit annoying, condescending. She has this attitude. I just don't get it. It's really weird. And she has this attitude and this funny way of being with characters and friends that she has met in the first game that helped her, to accomplish what she accomplished in the first game. So it's just weird to me. I don't know. Her character's a bit weird. In terms of the story, the story was good. They had some very good ideas, but I think that they just poorly executed it. And I do think that in regards to the plot, there's a lot of very convenient things that happen, and some of it kind of leaves you kind of thinking, okay, well, there's kind of a few plot holes here. Are they just doing it just to make everything a bit too convenient? And it does feel like that. It comes across like that to me. So yeah, that's pretty much the good and bad of the plot and story. Let's talk about the good and bad points when it comes to the graphics and art and animation in this game. Graphically, this game looks and feels better than the first game, and to be honest with you, if you're playing it on the PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 5, it looks phenomenal. And to be honest with you, if you're playing on the PlayStation 5, it's kind of, it's kind of a given, like more powerful machine. But, the weather dynamics in this game looks and feels so authentic. And we're talking about from the sun rising and the sun setting, when it's raining, the wind blowing, the lightning effects, the reflection, the water flowing. And you got to remember, you can swim underwater in this game as well. So we're talking about the underwater wildlife, the fishes. We're talking about the forests, the greenlands, the desert lands, the mountain regions, snowy mountains, sandy beaches, and there's palm trees in this game. We've got wildlife. The wildlife in this game looks really good. We've got more animals, which is a good thing as well, and they all look authentic. We've got new robots and new characters, new robots and new character designs. We've got old ones, but overall there's a big improvement from the first game, and it just looks really, really good. This game runs on a smooth 30 frames per second on a PS4. Obviously, if you're playing on the PlayStation 5, you've got different options. But graphically and art animation is beautiful. The fact that like they introduce you to different tribes in this game as well, so like you get to see it from like different cultures and stuff, and how there's different you know, like they've used different art styles to, you know, emphasize that. Very beautiful, very beautiful. And especially, you like, there's a point in this game where you get to fly, you know, you get to fly on a mech, on a robot. And even when you're flying as well, you know what I mean, like the clouds and the mist and stuff like that, it's just, it's so good. So the graphics and the art animation in this game is really good. But I do have some bad points. And one of the things that I don't particularly like about this game when it comes to the graphics and art and animation is Aloy's face. Her face looks fat, and it's not consistent from the first game, especially when you're thinking about the fact that this game picks up 6 months after the first game. Now, I understand that, you know, in the real world people put on weight, but her body isn't fat. She hasn't put on any weight on her body. Her body is literally the same as it was in the first game, but her head has just got bigger. Her face just looks fat, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's not consistent. In my personal opinion, it's not realistic, and she just looks ugly, which is a shame, because in the first game Aloy was a beautiful and strong character. And I'm not talking about just like the way she looks, I'm talking about her character and everything else. She was actually a beautiful, feminine, strong character, and in this game she just looks like ugly in her face. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's one thing I didn't particularly like in this game. Very inconsistent. It didn't make any sense. And I don't know if they're just doing it to try and make her more masculine or whatever it is. But listen, like, the developers, they just like need to be consistent. And, you know, in this regard, they wasn't consistent. So the second issue that I have is that there are a lot of graphical pop-ins. And you see it with characters, you see it with the world, you see it with most objects. It's not a lot, but there was more graphical pop-ins than it was in the first game. The fact that this game looks better than the first game, but it has more graphical pop-ins than the first game, is like, I don't know. And it's kind of weird to me, because I would have thought, or shall I say, I would have assumed that the fact that like Guerrilla Games had more time with the Decima engine, they know how to utilize it, know how to manipulate it. I would have thought that making games, you know, on the PlayStation platform, whether it's PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, that there wouldn't be more graphical pop-ins that there was in the first game. So I don't know. So there's graphical improvement, but there's a lot of graphical pop-ins, and you see it like with with a lot of things in the game. So it kind of takes you out the game. Again, another thing that kind of like kicks you out the game. So, and the thing is that it gets really bad here when you're like flying on a mech. So there's a point in the game where you get to fly on the mech, flying around in the world, and the graphical pop-ins are so bad. So, but again, this is only on PlayStation 4. I haven't played the PlayStation 5. I can only talk about the PlayStation 4. So yeah, so they are basically the bad points when it comes to the graphics and art and animation in this game. Let's talk about the good and bad points when it comes to the gameplay and system in this game. This game has a brand new skill tree, which is really good. More in depth for the characters, combat of choice, of customization, which is really good. We've got 6 different choices. We've got the warrior, trapper, hunter, survivor, infiltrator, and machine master, which is really good because it gives you a choice of how you want to build or customize your character as you're going through the game and the story. I also love the stash box item in this game. The fact that if you're picked like 100 berries and that's the maximum, if you keep on picking more, it goes straight to your stash box, and I really like that. And that's something that I noticed that they've taken from Resident Evil. I also love the melee stealth combat in this game. It has greatly improved. It is way more smoother, the combos, the animation, and what's really good here is that you've got like a Valor Surge system, which is kind of like a super, basically. I mean, that's categorized to every feature that you have in the game. So for example, if you like a warrior class, you've basically got like a super kind of thing that you can use in it. So that's really cool. We've got like new weapons for combat and armor, which is cool. Obviously, you know, you've got the different classes, green, blue, purple and gold, you know, but that also brings another level of customization because you can also equip them with different elements and stuff to actually, you know, improve your weapons or your armor to make you more powerful or stronger. And I really love the fact that there are so many new machines, new robots to fight, new enemies, and they all feel different to fight, which is really, really good. Again, it brings another level of immersion, also brings another level of excitement, and you know, when you're fighting, it allows you to utilize the new elements that are in this game. I really, really love the Apex fights. Like, I just love them so much. Like, they are really good. The level and the size and depth of this game, the Forbidden West world map in this game is massive, bigger than the first game, which is which is really good. But also this game has got so much depth as well, because the fact is that you can swim underwater now, and you can also fly as well. You can fly on mechs, so it brings that real depth from, you know, from below and, you know, from above, which is really good, and it's really fun. I just love the feeling of being able to fly around on the mech in this beautiful world. So it's so cool, you know. But like, this game has improved so much, even with stuff with, you know, like climbing mechanics and stuff. You know, it's got better freeform climbing and stuff. You know, we've got tools such like, you know, shield wing, and we've got focus scanning and dive mask and pull caster, all these other like weapons and features that you have in the game. Like, it just brings more depth to the gameplay and system, which is like, you know, good as a gamer. You know, and another thing that I do like about this game, that it's got shorter load times, way shorter than the first game. That was one of the things that really bothered me with the first game. This game has shorter load time, and I'm saying that because of the fact that I played this game on the PS4 Pro. I don't play this game on the PlayStation 5, so I can't speak about the PlayStation 5. But again, I'm going to assume that, you know, it's got no loading time, SSD hard drive, but it really helps with the gameplay, especially in a lot of aspects as well. And last but not least, the accessibility in this game is better and deeper, and I really like that, because everybody's got different abilities, different disabilities, and it allows for a wide range of different types of people that have different abilities or different disabilities to be able to play this game. So I really like the fact that they've added this feature and they've gone deeper into this feature as well. So yes, there were the good points. Now let's talk about the bad points in this game. And yes, I do have a few bad points, a few negative things to say in regards to the gameplay and system. So one of the issues that I have is that I don't understand the developers' need to start a character on level 0 when you finish the first game on level 50. Does it make more sense to just start your character off like on level 50 and maybe the max level be like 80 or 90 or something? That makes more sense to me. It's like the same thing of like how developers feel the need to weaken your character, weaken the weapons that you got, your armor, all these things, like the ability. Like, what's the point of weakening your character just to build your character back up again, when, especially in the story, that there isn't or wasn't a mechanic to actually give reason for that? Like, for example, it leads me on to another issue that I have. Like, in the end, or near the end of Horizon Zero Dawn, Aloy comes across like a golden level armor. It's like one of the strongest armors that you can get, and it's a shield armor. At the beginning of this game, you start off wearing the same armor, because this game picks up 6 months after the first game. You're wearing the same armor, but you just don't have the shield ability. What kills it? The level of this armor is green. So in the first game it was gold. In this game it's green. And what kills it, yeah, like I mentioned it in earlier in this review when I was talking about like the story and plot, how they made certain things more convenient and there's certain plot holes. This is one of them, because in the game you come across enemies that have a similar shield armor. Now obviously, like, it wouldn't make that much sense here that if Aloy still had her shield armor and you came across these enemies and they got shield armor and they're trying to inflict damage onto you and it's not taking that much damage. So obviously, like, for story reasons they decided to take it out, but it doesn't make any sense. It's not congruent. It doesn't make any sense in regards to the character, the armor, and the level of Aloy as a character. So that's something that I just don't like, and I just hate when developers feel the need to weaken characters, weaken abilities and stuff like that. It's so annoying. Also, there are quite a few bugs in this game, and they are major ones that I never ever experienced in the first game. In this game I have fallen through the world map at least 5 times. Now I don't know if it's due to loading or whatever it is here, but there are some bugs and glitches that has you falling through this game multiple times, and it's weird. And it's weird to me because I would have thought that, you know, like Guerrilla Games again would have been used to using the engine, making games on the PlayStation platform, and you know, especially you didn't experience it in the first game. Now I'm experiencing it in this game. It's really weird. It's really annoying. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it can be fixed with some you know, patches and stuff like that, but I don't know. And last but not least, sometimes when I'm flying, or especially when I'm in combat, that like you get this like loading, like was it like this loading mini screen, like it's really annoying. So for example, like it's even times when I'm running across the world map and I'm not even doing anything and it just goes into this loading mini screen. It's so annoying. And let me give you like a really good example. So in this game, yeah, like you can ride mechs and stuff. It's like this like racing thing you can do, yeah, combat racing thing. I'm on a track here, I'm not even halfway through this track and it just goes into this loading mini screen, and it's so annoying because it takes you out of the game, it takes you out of the experience. And I don't know why that happens. I don't know if it's whether to do with because of the fact that they focus so much on improving the graphics or whatever it is, but it is so annoying. And you need to realize that this is like me talking about, or coming from the standpoint of me playing this game on the PS4 Pro. Obviously, if you're playing this game on PlayStation 5, you've got the SSD hard drive, you're not going to experience these things. But if you're playing it on the PlayStation 4, you own the PlayStation 4, these are the things that you're going to come across, and it's really immersion breaking and it's really annoying. So yeah, they are the bad points when it comes to the gameplay and system in this game. Let's talk about the good and bad points when it comes to the soundtrack, score, sound effects and voice acting in this game. So I really like the soundtrack in this game. The score and soundtrack was really good. I'll even say it's better than the first game, and the first game's soundtrack and score was really good, but this one is way better. They've clearly taken it to another level. The score was really good. It fit the tone of the game as well as the theme of the bosses and the stages, and some of my favorite themes in this game was the Apex boss fights. They were really good. They just made the fights way more enjoyable in my personal experience. And the sound effects of the world, the animals, the machines, the combat, they all sounded very authentic, and they brought a depth to the game and they just improved my experience. And last but not least, man, the voice acting in this game was so good, man. Like, the voice actors did an A1 job. No complaints, no issues with that. But I do have some bad points, or should I say I have one bad point and one nitpick. In this game, I noticed that sometimes, not all the time, sometimes that the voice and lip syncing would go out of sync, and it happened quite a bit. Not a lot, but it did happen enough for me to be like, what's going on? And sometimes I would have to reset the stage or just reset the game. And it happened with the music as well sometimes, like not as much as the lip syncing, but it happened a few times. So that's like, you know, one of the major issues that I have in regards to the soundtrack, score, sound effects and voice acting in this game. My next nitpick, should I say, is some of the best music and score is not on the soundtrack. For example, like the Apex music. Yes, there is a version of it, but when you play the game, when you come across different Apex machines, they have different variations of it, and they are really good. They are really good. I love the theme tunes of these boss fights, and it's not on the soundtrack. So that's kind of like a nitpick. It's kind of annoying. Who knows? Maybe they will bring out another one, you know, like a more in-depth one with all of the themes and everything on it. But yeah, but apart from that, you know, overall the soundtrack, score, sound effects and voice acting in this game was really good. So yeah. Final thoughts. What are my final thoughts in regards to playing Horizon Forbidden West after putting in countless hours and getting that platinum trophy? This game clearly has replayability because it's got New Game Plus, and things open up after completion, meaning that there's loads of things for you to do after you finish the game. Guerrilla Games will probably drop an expansion DLC like the Frozen Wilds in Horizon Zero Dawn, which will give you a reason to pick this game back up at a later date and play it. This game has averaged to good plot, story and character development, as well as the fact that this game has clearly improved graphically and gameplay wise. The world map is bigger and better, as well as a better soundtrack and score. But I will say that this game doesn't have the same spirit and soul as Horizon Zero Dawn. That's just my personal opinion. You might feel otherwise, I don't know. And I will say that I do understand that most of the technical issues that I have been experiencing is solely down to me playing this game on the PS4 Pro. Now obviously if you're playing it on the PlayStation 5, you're not going to be experiencing the same technical issues, so keep that in mind. But overall, I really enjoyed this game. This game was fun, it was enjoyable, it was an improvement. I really think that this was a good game and I had a really good experience. So with that being said, my final score is 9 out of 10 with a strong recommendation to buy and keep this game. Especially if you bought this game on the PlayStation 4, because you get the free PlayStation 5 upgrade. And not everyone's got a PlayStation 5, and if you're going to experience this on the PlayStation 4, don't worry about wasting money, because you get the free upgrade and you get the full PlayStation 5 experience. And that was my review of Horizon Forbidden West. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe and hit the bell notification if you like man's content or any of my content. You can also hit me up on the socials, Twitter, Instagram and Twitch, jaysgamepad across the board. You ain't got to type, tap, press anything else but that. And also if you want to hit me up on PlayStation, my gamer name is MrGhostProtocol. So with that being said, I guess me and Aloy will see you and speak to you real soon. See, look at Aloy right here. Look at her right here. She looks beautiful. No, actually, correction. She looks beautiful. This is Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. Not Forbidden West, Zero Dawn. Look at her beautiful face. Look at her whole body. Look at her outfit. Look at the bow. Look at what she's standing on. Strong woman. Strong warrior. Strong character. Beautiful character. I love Aloy, man. I love this Aloy. I love this Aloy. Look at her.